the biggest part of my life in terms of development. In Nigeria, I was the president at some point in my local committee in Enugu, and then did a couple of virtual roles, worked with AIESEC in Kenya, AIESEC in Tanzania at the time, and Ethiopia. And then in 2017, I moved to Ghana. And then in 2018, I moved to Finland. Everything I do in life up until this point were shaped by AIESEC.
You had no knowledge of the ecosystem. What gave you that confidence to be able to say that I'm going to build something for myself, build something that other people can also use as well?
I'm coming from Nigeria. The cultural shock and difference. In Nigeria, we are very extroverted. You meet people on the street, you talk to them, hey, what's up? And you become friends. Literally, you do business and all that. And then I came to Finland. I do realize that being a Nigerian, is a plus. Because being born in Nigeria or growing up in Nigeria is literally growing up in a jungle. All of this stacking up as problems or issues. I treat everything in my life as though it's a startup. There's a problem, we come up with a solution, we fix it and we make it happen.
Being a Nigerian founder, building in Finland is not all that easy. How do people respond to you nowadays?
When you mention all of these layers or outsider, there's a different perspective that comes to mind.
Okay. So today's guest has visited 42 countries, built multiple startups from his apartment in Finland, and he is on a mission to change the way the world travels. Not by building another app, but by building a movement. He grew up in Nigeria, found his calling through a global youth organization that took him across Africa, the Middle East, and eventually to Helsinki. Instead of staying comfortable, he kept building. His latest venture, StayingBee, is rewriting the rules of travel by connecting people through communities they already trust. Hotels are expensive. Airbnb feels transactional. Couchsurfing feels risky. Kelvin said, what if there's a better way? Welcome to the show, Kelvin Chikezie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Really, really great to be here, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you, So I heard about your story, and I thought, this is worth sharing for the audience, especially at this point in time where there's a lot of complaining about how there is no jobs in Finland or how the job market in Finland has dropped down. So when I hear about Immigrant who came to Finland and started something by themselves and also create opportunity for other people, I'm always excited to hear that, because I think it's, at some point we cannot all depend on people to give us jobs. Yeah. We have to be able to also create jobs, either for ourselves or create jobs and then also employ other people.
Definitely.
So every time when I hear about Immigrant success stories, I'm always eager to share it. So today, we are excited to have you on the Godson Pratt podcast.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
So, without wasting, so much time, Kelvin, can you take us back to the beginning, right? When you were growing up in Nigeria, what did you imagine that life for you was going to look like?
Oh, wow. That's a throwback. Well, I grew up while growing up, my ideal life was to be a doctor. Clearly because my mom is a nurse.
Okay.
I've seen her take care of people. She's very caring, and I just wanted to continue from where she stopped, or based on what she's doing. So I was really curious to be a doctor, but again, I'm not really a big fan of blood. I know that kind of stuff. Yeah. But then while I went to school, I discovered my passion for computer. Pressing computer, electronics, gadget, and all of that. So growing up, it was tough. Growing up in Nigeria, we didn't have a lot of fund or resources, so it was more like hustling, struggling. I remember going to university. I needed to take care of my school fees, my feeding, and all that. So I would say that growing up shaped me to the mental toughness that I have now. Okay. It was more like a jungle. It was rough. But again, we had the basic stuff that we could ask for from our parents, and we had the basics, values and morals, which kind of put me on a pedestal to just keep doing what I'm doing. Right. Even though we didn't have all that we wanted, but it was easy to know what is right and wrong, how to make ends meet, how to create value, and how to take things from that point to the next level. Okay. So, Kelvin, you studied engineering, right? Yeah. And like you said, because of your mom being a nurse, you wanted to be a doctor. Yep. But after you studied engineering, your career, went in a completely different direction. So what happened, and what was the moment that you realized that you were more excited about building things
than following the plan of becoming a doctor, like your mom.
Yeah, the plan of being a doctor was also to keep the legacy of my mom, because nobody in my family is in the medical space, and with the way I love my mom and what she does and how she does it, I thought, damn, it would make sense to have somebody to keep doing what she's doing, right? But then after I went to university, I applied for electronic engineering, because I found my passion with computers. You know, back in the days when internet was still like early days of the internet, I found myself going online, Facebooking, doing a lot of stuff. So I felt very like drawn to the computer and stuff. So I started electronic, majored in software. But before I went to school, I remember my dad taking me to his shop, where I didn't know that he was instilling in me what you call the foundation of entrepreneurship. He would take me to the shop and tell me about the cost price, the selling price, how to mock it up, put your margin, what to sell, not to be at loss. So he taught me all this stuff that now, even in the business schools, they don't teach. It made a lot of sense. So that foundation he gave me was more like an intro to entrepreneurship. And then I went to school, studied electronic engineering, majored in software, which means now I can build things. But I have the business background, which means I can build something and I can go and sell it. So that's how the whole... I got really excited to build a lot of stuff, take it to market, bring a lot of users to use it. So that's where the foundation of building, startup, creating stuff started.
So AIESEC.
AIESEC, yeah.
That seems like a very major turning point for you, right? So you went from Enugu, Nigeria, to Kenya, Ghana, and then, other places, and then to Finland as well, right? So what did those experiences do to your understanding of the world and of yourself?
Wow, AIESEC is... it's like the biggest part of my life in terms of development. Because I joined AIESEC while I was still in uni. That was in my second year. I stayed with AIESEC for, I think, over 7 years. I did AIESEC in Nigeria. I was the president at some point in my local committee in Enugu. And then did a couple of virtual roles, worked with AIESEC in Kenya, AIESEC in Tanzania at the time, and Ethiopia. And then in 2017 I moved to Ghana. So in Ghana I was on the national team. I worked at AIESEC in Ghana for a year as head of marketing. And then in 2018 I moved to Finland. So in Finland I was also on the national team as head of marketing. So pretty much everything I do in life up until this point were shaped by AIESEC. So I was studying electronic engineering in school, right? But in AIESEC, I started doing marketing stuff. Like I didn't know anything about digital marketing, B2C, and all those stuff. So AIESEC just gave me that pathway, because in AIESEC, one thing we do is to prepare young people for the world before they even meet the world. So while you are still in school, you try a lot of things, different roles in talent management, in marketing, in operations. You get to understand what are you really interested in, what are you passionate about, before you actually get into the real world. So that's what happened to me in AIESEC. I did a couple of roles. I was in HR, I did talent management for a while, recruitment and all of that. And then I ventured into digital marketing, which was where I realized how much I love marketing. Like at some point, I was calling myself like a marketing expert, because I felt like the nitty-gritty of marketing is something I can do at 2 a.m. and I don't feel like I'm working. I felt like a hobby. So it was through AIESEC. And then I continued with AIESEC on the national level, where I was now, head of marketing for the whole entity. This is somebody that had no background in marketing whatsoever. So all the experience I built up in marketing was built up from AIESEC. And then did that in Ghana, then moved to Finland, did the same thing. That was actually how I was able to start my first company here in Finland, which was also a marketing agency, right? So the whole story of AIESEC is that through AIESEC, I was able to create a different pathway for myself. Because, look at the guy that wanted to be a doctor, came and studied electronic engineering, but now he's doing marketing, totally out of the blues, right? Which company will even hire if you don't have experience of studying this stuff? So after I came to Finland, I realized that, I have a lot of experience in marketing, myself and my co-founder. We thought, why not start a company around this and service other clients? So that's how we started our first company in Finland. And I will go into the rest later. But yeah, AIESEC played a huge role in my life. It kind of shaped me to the kind of person I am now, what I'm doing, my work ethics, the values, the network of people I have around the whole world, and the way I see things while building startup. So kudos to AIESEC.
Nice. So, you moved to Finland in 2018, right? You didn't speak the language.
Nope, I didn't.
And you had no knowledge of the ecosystem. So a lot of people will see that as a wall, right? You saw it as a door. So what gave you that confidence to be able to say, I don't know the language, I don't have a great deal of network, but I'm going to build something for myself and hopefully build something that other people can also use as well?
Yeah, I remember having an interview, I think it was like 3 years after we moved to Finland on this same topic conversation,
Yeah.
Because when you look at Finland, like you mentioned, the language barrier, I'm coming from Nigeria, the cultural shock and difference. In Nigeria, we are very extroverted. You meet people on the street, you talk to them, hey, what's up? And you become friends, literally, you do business and all that.
Yeah.
And then I came to Finland, right? The language, the people being like reserved, you need to get to know them first before they open up. The code, the temperature, it was insane. And then the whole, there's no sun, and it was a lot stacked up, right? But I do realize that being a Nigerian, is a plus.
Right.
Because being born in Nigeria or growing up in Nigeria is literally growing up in a jungle. So when you grow up in a jungle, every other place like Finland is like a paradise. So all of these stacking up as problems or issues, I just looked at them as, well, these are basic issues of life. I treat everything in my life as though it's a startup.
Exactly.
There's a problem, we come up with a solution, we fix it and we make it happen. So while building my first, it was even much worse because I didn't just move to Finland. I moved to Finland after a year, I started a company.
Yeah.
To register the company online was in Finnish. The tax system was in Finnish. Accounting is in Finnish. I didn't even understand the whole accounting, finance structure. It was insane.
Right.
But we did manage to pull through because for me, when you come from hardship, everything else becomes more like luxury. Right. Because coming from Nigeria, coming to Finland, I feel like what people consider as challenges or troubles or issues, for me it's like, oh wow, that's luxury, I can make that work, So we did find ways around it, for our first company, we were like, well, we had a client that needed their content to be in Finnish.
Okay.
Me and my co-founder, not even close to speaking Finnish. We're like, what can we do? Well, we'll go hire a Finnish content creator to make the content in Finnish, and we pay them, right? Accounting, everything is in Finnish. How do we do it? Well, we'll go hire a Finnish accountant. So we surrounded ourselves with people who could literally help us move from point A to point B without feeling the heat of what was happening, right? And then one thing I think helped me a lot was the community. I think I find my people in Finland, or I didn't create, but I somehow managed to find a community of people that I can call home.
But was it like, were they also like AIESECers or?
Some of them were AIESECers for sure, because AIESEC did help, because the first year I moved to Finland, I was working with AIESEC, so I was pretty much interacting with people from the organization.
Right.
But after that, I started my startup, so I got integrated into the startup community.
Right.
So AIESEC as a community, then the startup community, it started expanding. So that's community feeling where I always have people anywhere I'm going in Finland. To ask, whether it's to open a business, whether it's to do accounting, whether it's to do market, whether it's just to get some sort of advice, I kind of have people that helps.
Exactly.
So that made it a little bit easier. It's not easy to move to Finland and live here and without the language and stuff. But with the right people around, it became a little bit easier to just manage.
Right. So in one of your interviews that I watched, actually, you said this, right? You said that entrepreneurship requires preparation physically, mentally, and also emotionally. So what were some of the tough days, or what were the tough days actually like in those early years in Finland? The ones that, we don't post about. What were they like for you, and how did you manage to kind of like recover from those ones?
The first, The first year was a little bit easier because we were still with AIESEC. The second year we started my first startup in Finland. I mean, entrepreneurship is something that I wish I knew this before I got in, right? There's a lot of preparation or mental toughness that is required. I think at some point we were homeless for like a month, me and my co-founder.
Really?
We're just staying with friends in different like cities, you know. We go to this person, we stay for a week, we go here, we stay for 2 weeks.
While still building?
Yeah, while building, we just actually, we're about to incorporate this new company. We finished with AIESEC. So there's this transition before we started our entrepreneurship life. It was tough because we stayed there for 2 weeks in Helsinki, then we went to Turku, stayed with a friend for another week, then went to Jyväskylä, stayed with another of our friends for like a week or two. So that period, we're living out of suitcase, registering the business on the go, opening the business accounts on the go, getting clients. Also, within that month, after we finished, we came back to Helsinki, we got an apartment and we settled, things started to flow, right? So it was not all roses. Even the first year, I remember we spoke to a couple of Finnish clients. They were like, no, you need to get at least 1 or 2 Finnish clients that you've worked with in the past for us to trust you.
To get leverage.
Like, exactly. We're like, well, for us to get a Finnish client, one Finnish client needs to become a client, right? So it was a rat race. So we had to, I think we did a pro bono. We got a few Finnish clients, we worked with them, and then it became easier. So these were like the hurdle in the beginning. The language, the people, you know, the market, and trying to service it the way we wanted to. It was kind of tough, but we did get through it.
Okay. So now you leave AIESEC, you start your own startup, StayingBee.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yes, the current one. I mean, AIESEC, after AIESEC, I've done like 3 other startups before Stay. So StayingBee is the current one at the moment. Yeah.
So the current one, that's also what you started building from your balcony.
Yes.
Tell me that story.
Well, it was in 2024, October or November-ish. The idea kind of struck. So I have this really nice, fancy-looking balcony. Whenever I wake up, going there to work gives me inspiration.
I've seen it.
Yeah. So it was there. We're like just thinking. I think it was like 11 p.m. or so. The idea just came because I love to travel. Yeah. And every time I go abroad, I always find people that I'm connected with to either show me around, to hang out, grab coffee, or just go and party. You know. And these are always AIESECers in most cases, or maybe folks from Startup Grind. It's another community that I'm part of. So that night, it dawned on me, you know, there's Airbnb for strangers, there's hotels and stuff. Why can't there be a team for this community of people that I'm already part of, where we can all put our house on this platform, and whenever we are traveling, we just check whose house is available, we stay with them. So instead of paying the expensive price of Airbnb. So that's where the whole idea came. I spoke to my partner. I was like, this is the idea I'm having in my head right now. She's like, oh, wow, that makes interest. So we explored it a bit. And then I called my co-founder. He's like, here we go again. Kelvin with another idea. Is it startup number 10 or what, you know? So we took some time, brainstormed on it. But there was one thing he said that made a lot of sense. He said, like, this idea makes so much sense because it kind of embodies who I am as a person, right? Traveling is my passion. Community is something I love a lot. And then people, networking is something that, like, if you ask my friends, who is Kelvin? Like, is this extroverted, outgoing, you know? So these are like my personality put into a product. And then to sum it up, we could actually build the first version of it without hiring anyone. So after we analyzed it, he's like, it does make sense. Let's go build it. So the idea popped up from the balcony. We gave it a night. The next day, we jumped into the name, the branding, and I think like a week or so, we just got something out there.
So I'm going to go soon to the name, how you came up with it and stuff like that. But first of all, let me go to your travels. So you've traveled to over 42 countries, 42 plus countries, right? So was there a specific trip, maybe a bad hotel, a lonely Airbnb, or a magical stay with a community member that made you say, something is broken and I know how to fix it and I'm going to build it?
Yep. Actually, I think it was in December, I was still trying to build out the first version of StayingBee as a concept. It's still a bit theoretical, you know. Hotel is broken, Airbnb is expensive, so we want to build something that is different. But again, it's in my head. We needed to go out there and try it out. So January we launched like the first like version. We brought a few AIESECers on the platform to put their home, and then I actually booked my trip across Europe through the platform.
Okay.
So I was in Berlin, Munich, Vienna, Bucharest, and Madrid for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
After that trip, I came back. I'm like, yes, we're building this shit because it's changed the way I thought about traveling, and it kind of confirmed a lot of things I had in mind around the idea. I remember my host in Bucharest. This dude came to the airport to pick me up. Like I've never met him in my life, but we are part of this AIESEC as a community, right? He came to the airport to pick me up. He took me around the city, gave me like a crash course of Bucharest, the history, the culture, even introduced me to the local food. Like I remember for the 3 days I was there, I never used Google Map for once to check for what to eat, where to go, what to do. He treated me as though I was a local. I didn't feel like a traveler. I felt more integrated, right? Then in Berlin, my host, he's a poet. Okay. So he took me to one of his shows where he was performing and stuff, which if I came through hotel or Airbnb, I'll probably never be able to see that, right? Then my host in Vienna, that one is one that blew me up, you know. We went to the gym together, we went shopping, and I got the chance to cook for her the local Nigerian food, you know, which she has never had in her life. We drank together, caught up, discussed a lot of things. So for me, that trip with the host that I met and the experience that I had, once I came back, I'm like, there's nothing like this literally on earth right now. So there is a gap in the market that we need to fill. That was when like the whole decision to like go all in 110% into this and just drive it forward.
So StayingBee.
Yes.
So the name itself, right? And then I've seen, you know, whilst doing research, you have a lot of hive language around your company. So you have like chief beekeeper, you have beekeepers, you have hive and stuff like that. So where does that idea come from, and you know, why StayingBee?
Yeah, well, the idea, the name itself, StayingBee, actually it came from my girlfriend. She's the one that she's the one that came up with it. So
is she part of the founders?
No, I mean, she's the unseen founder.
Right.
She's the one that you will not see doing anything, but she's the one that's keeping me in the game. I think it was the next day after we had the idea and brainstorming. The next day we were thinking, okay, what would be a good name to give? So she had this argument of, you know, you could build a whole ecosystem around the bees, you know, because honestly the name does align with what we had in mind, because StayingBee, the concept is to stay with people, not places. So stay with your community, your people, wherever you go. And you know, bees are always in their, you know, in their community, they stay together, right? So it's like, okay, StayingBee, you know, bees staying. That's how the whole name came. But then we started talking about other things we could do with the name, right? You know, bees have queens and kings. Those are our hosts. And then there are the beekeepers who take care of the bees. And then there's the hive, which is like the office or the place where the people are going to stay. And then I call myself chief beekeeper, like a CEO in that sense. I manage the people. So the whole idea came from her, but then we kind of developed it like further. And one of the things I love about the whole name is like, for us, it's really important, identity, because we are building for communities. And every community has to identify with who they are, the values and stuff. So for us, identifying as with these names kind of makes it easy for us to bring people together to join that community, because it's easy for them to see, okay, this is who they are, this is what they do. So it all boils down to identity. And that's why we just kept, there's still a lot of them incoming. So more projects are going to be tied towards the bee nomenclature.
Got it. But your co-founders though, when you first pitched the idea to them, what was the conversation like? Were they all like immediately on board, or did you have to convince them to, you know, because obviously there's Airbnb, there's couchsurfing, there's hotels, you know, there's like what have you. So when you pitched the idea to them to come with you to build StayingBee, what was the conversation like?
Yeah, I mean, my first co-founder, we are 4 co-founders in total.
Okay.
So the first person I spoke to, we've worked together for the past, I don't know, 20 years. We studied together in uni in Nigeria.
Okay.
And we've worked on a couple of projects.
Right.
Some startups, some failed, some just didn't go anywhere. So the first time I called him, his reaction was like, here we go again. Kelvin, is it the idea number 10? Like, where are we with this? What happened with the rest, you know? I'm like, dude, calm down. Just hear me out, you know? So I gave him the narrative, painted the picture, and explained to him the concept. He got it immediately. Just because of one thing. It's like, well, if somebody else is building this, maybe I wouldn't trust it. But since it's you, your personality, your vibe, your energy, and your travel, I travel a lot. Your waka waka, this is like the product that if nobody uses it, you will use it.
Exactly.
So, I mean, then the second co-founder, Patricia, she was actually, I was interviewing her to get feedback when I was building the whole thing, before I even started to build, because she was in AIESEC as well, and she loves to travel. So I wanted to get some insight and feedback from her. She gave me some feedback, and then later on, I went back to her. I'm like, well, this is what we're building, right? I really want to get you on board.
Yeah.
She kind of get it immediately because she's a digital nomad.
Okay.
She travels full time.
Yeah.
So she can already see the frustration with hotels, Airbnb, couch surfing. She feel it every day while during her trip.
Right.
So she clearly saw the gap in the market and saw the value StayingBee was bringing. So with her, it was, I would say, less convincing and more of where do we go next from here? I get the idea, the problem, right? But what's next, right? And then with Mika, our CTO, we met through this is a founders dating app. Where you find other co-founders, keywords here in Helsinki.
Right.
So the main thing for him was that the idea is early, but there's already a team formed. So he was not coming in as the first person to build it. And we had traction. I think back then we had maybe over 1,000 users. When I spoke to him, we've processed some couple of hundreds of euros. So things have already started showing traction. We just needed him to come in and let's take this to the next level, right? So he saw that something is working. And it took some convincing, but it was not as, I don't know, as intense as it would have been, because we had some traction, something that was working. So it was a bit easier to sell the idea.
Right. But Kelvin, though, so at this point, you already had built Digital Growth Boost, and you were also co-founding, I think, the Exude at the time.
Yes.
So what made you add another company to your plate? Because, you know, like most founders, they even struggle to handle one, right? But you were just adding on top of it.
Yeah.
So what is like your mental model that helps you to run, say, multiple things at the same time?
I mean, I was not running 3 of them at the same time. StayingBee, I mean, I did DGB, the Digital Growth Boost. That was the first. It didn't go as we planned. So I started doing the Exude with one of our other co-founder. So with the Exude, we literally ran out of money. So the startup died. You know?
Did you become homeless again?
What?
Did you become homeless?
No. With DGB and the Exude, things change and progress. So with the story of a founder is that it's sequential. There's levels, right? In the beginning, you might be eating ramen and stuff. But that first project you work on might be the hardest.
Right.
After that, the next one becomes a little bit easier. Maybe you have more money in the bank, more resources, you have investors. It gets easier, right? So with DGB, it was hell. With the Exude, it got easier because from day one, I was paying myself salary, right? But then we closed up the Exude before I started StayingBee. So StayingBee was like my only project at the time, because I focused on it 110%. But the whole idea of, people always ask, like, you did the first one, it didn't work. You did another one, it didn't really. So why always start up? Once a founder, always a founder. There's this, I don't know how to explain it. If you're a founder and you love to build, one might not work, but if you're in the game, you will pivot or find another ways to do it, and you keep going. So I have this love of building and serving millions of users with a platform, creating an impact. So if it didn't happen with the Digital Growth Boost, I'm like, well, let's keep going. We tried with Dexo, it didn't happen. Now we are with StayingBee, and with all the signals, StayingBee is pointing in the direction where this is going to be it. So
got it.
For me, just staying long enough in the game until it pops.
Right.
And so far, it seems like StayingBee is going to the direction where it's going to pop.
So what would you say so far is like the hardest moment that you've had, you know, building StayingBee so far? And I'm not talking about a strategic challenge, but something like a personal challenge. Something that you say, okay, I'm not sure this is going to work, that type of moment. What is like the hardest that you had so far?
I think the first 2 months were like honeymoon. Like I launched on LinkedIn with a post. That post got over, 20,000 impressions.
Wow.
Over 500 likes and comments. So AIESECers all over the world were like, yes, this is what we've been waiting for. This platform makes sense. They were tagging their friends. So for like 2 months, the chat was like uptrend. I'm like, this is the shit I've been talking about. This is it.
So at that time, were you like testing for proof of concept? Or?
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
Got it.
So there was this, this makes sense. It's working.
Yeah.
It went up. The launch finished.
Dipped.
And then it goes again like this. It started going down.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, if he was this high, like, you have to bring it back up. We stayed down there for a while. Because when we launched, I could get 100 users signing up in one day.
Right.
And then at some point, I was looking, can we get one at least? So at that point, I felt it was a hype. Okay, this is a hype. It's come up and it gone down. So at that point, I questioned every single approach, every single thing. I mean, I thought about like to give up, even though it was still early. But I thought, man, if nobody is signing up and using the platform, like, what the heck? It doesn't make any sense anymore. So that point, I thought about really pivoting into something else, quitting. But then I took a different turn. I started talking to the people that signed up. I started asking them, why did you sign up? Can you reshare this to your other friends that could sign up? So gradually, we brought that graph back up, and then it remained there.
Nice. So, Kelvin, you are like a Nigerian founder building in Finland, solving a global problem, right? That's like already 3 layers of outsider. How has that shaped the way you build, and how do people respond to you now, because being a Nigerian founder, building in Finland is not all that easy. So how do people like respond to you like nowadays?
I mean, I kind of see things differently. Because when you mention all of these layers or outsider, there's a different perspective that comes to mind.
Okay.
Because for me, being a Nigerian founder or being born in Nigeria, it helped me build the mental toughness to survive and build a startup, which you really need. And then building from Finland, it gave me access to the resources, the funding, the community and people that I need to actually build and scale.
Right.
And then building for the world, it brings me fulfillment because I'm not just building for 1,000 people. We're building for millions and billions of people. Potentially. So these 3 anchors are what actually makes me and my team like really formidable.
Exactly.
Because on one hand, what could break a founder will not move me because I've gone through a lot of stuff in Nigeria, right? So that mental toughness. And then being in Finland, having access to some of the resources, the communities, the funding, it makes it a little bit easier to build. And then building for a global net, like building for the world, it means that we don't think in cities and in countries. We think in region and the world, how we're going to serve people. It makes us think big, and that makes us very audacious in how we do. So when people, how it affects the way people look at me, it just makes them look at me as this guy is crazy. When I talk to people, they're like, hey, you've been doing this for how long? I'm like, couple of months, and you have thousands of users. They're like, hey, it's not possible. Like, what? So it just drives this ambitious and makes people look at me like in a very different way, because we move with the speed of light, myself and my team, because we have the advantage of all of this. So for me, I look at these three layers as advantage stacked on top of each other, which makes it very, very easy for us to just go from 1 to 100 in a matter of seconds.
Right. But have there been like moments where, let's say, people underestimated what you were doing, and if so, I mean, obviously because of your background, it's maybe somebody will underestimate you that are you even capable of building these things?
Yeah.
Right? So if you've had like such moment, how were you able to handle them and how, you know?
Of course, I mean, we've had conversations. I mean, they wouldn't come to your face and tell you you're not capable, but you can, you read the room, you understand what's going on. There have been situations where they are skeptical. I mean, I've spoke to a couple of like investors, like VCs and stuff. They wouldn't tell you to your face, but they don't trust that you can deliver. I don't know exactly why, but they look at you and they feel like, well, this looks like a very big problem you're trying to solve.
Yeah.
I don't trust you enough to solve it. Go and get some traction and come back to me, right? It has happened a couple of times. But again, for me, right, I've been doing this for a very long time. Like StayingBee is like my fourth startup now. So getting no's is part of the game. Actually, I need you to tell me no fast, ASAP, so I can move on to the next one that will give me the no or the yes.
Exactly.
Right? So there has been those moments. Quite a lot of them are probably like lost counts.
Yeah.
But I see them as, you know, you get a couple of no's, you just need 1 year. Honestly, building a startup, you just need to succeed once. You hit that jackpot once, it's done. You're made.
Exactly.
So no matter how many no's and how many doors are locked, it just makes it easy for you to know which door not to knock on, who is going to tell you no, and just focus on the ones that will give you the yes that you need.
So I heard you say somewhere that in one of your interviews that I was watching, and you said that investors don't invest because they like you. They invest because they see a potential for you to make them some money, right? So that's a hard lesson that a lot of founders learn, you know, too late. So when did you yourself learn that lesson? And how did it change the way you approach raising money? Yeah.
I remember mentioning that. I mean, investment is a business. It's not a charity. No investor is just gonna, maybe if they are your uncle or your sugar mommy or sugar daddy, they will just give you some check to go play around. But that's like, I don't know, 0.0000%.
Yeah.
So investors are business people. They need to make returns. So when they write you a check, they might tell you that they like you and shit like that. Fuck that shit. No, they are interested in what you are going to bring them as a return on investment, right?
Exactly.
They see the potential in what you are building, which is where it gets tough. Because for me, in my first startup, we started talking to investors even before we had any serious like traction. The first startup I started back in Nigeria or so, right? And then with other projects that passed by, the lesson I started getting into it that, okay, well, treat these people the same way you treat customers, right? You're not going to go to a customer and like, hey, I don't have anything, but give me your money, right?
Yeah.
Some would, but it's tough.
Yeah.
So with the investors, treating them as business people that are investing in something that are going to give them return on investment, it will help you prepare before you even go talk to them. Because on one hand, they might like you as a person, they might like what you're building, but if they don't see how they can 5x, 10x, or even 100x from what you're building, then it's not going to work.
Right. So let's say, are you sometimes opening funding to like your community?
We did open up a community round with this in this current round. So we call it like community fund.
Right.
It's pretty much a way of us turning our power users into investors, because a lot of people say that they love what we're building, they would love to get involved, but our pre-seed round, we had a 10K minimum ticket size. We're like, it's a little bit high, can we join somehow? So we thought, well, these are already their users on the platform. Some of them are hosts, some of them are guests. They've used the platform, they were interested to help and support. So we just like lowered the threshold, allowed them to, with as little as 1K, they can just jump in and own a bit of the company. So it's just a way of us turning our evangelists to become investors and vice versa.
But that's like a very bold and unconventional choice, though. Like a lot of people always go directly to the venture capital money. So like, why did you choose to go that route?
I mean, for two reasons. One is that we are building in a community space, right? Which means the advocates we need are within these communities. most of the investors, maybe they have their own community, but the communities that we're building in, the people that are using it, we want them to keep talking about it to their friends and their so getting them to have skin in the game is actually really important, because they're not just users. They can go around and brag, I'm an investor in StayingBee, and they will talk to people about it because they want StayingBee to succeed, not just as a brand, but as a company they invested in. So that's one. We just wanted to convert our users to become, evangelists and now investors. But then on the other hand, raising money from VCs in this age, in our so we had a lot of things stacked up against us. We're in the travel space, we are doing B2C, we are quite early, right? And then there is a whole economic meltdown. So talking to VCs early is a bit suicidal. I mean, can go talk to hundreds or like thousands. I did talk to a few of them, but the feedback was very concrete. What you're building makes sense. The problem is huge, but you need to go like show some more traction before VCs will take you more serious. So from day one, we're like, okay, well, we're not going to talk to the VCs anymore. We're just going to focus on the small fish. So that's why on our cap table we have a lot of angel investors. And then now with the community fund. So the whole idea behind it is to build something that becomes really like relevant and powerful enough, then we can engage the VCs and institutional investors.
So currently it's like AIESEC is still your anchor community right now, right? But you are also expanding to global shapers like CEMs, Erasmus, startups, ecosystem. So how do you decide which community to bring in, and how do you make sure the trust holds across different groups?
We started with AIESEC because I was part of AIESEC for a very long time. Still holds a very special place in my heart. But then we've expanded. Now we have SEMs, Global Shapers, Erasmus, and then we have a few upcoming communities like Rotary. We also have startup community. So we keep the model the same while we onboard every community. We are very strict with the verifications and stuff, right? So we have a verification like process that helps us actually know who are actually members of this community before they do join. So we started that with AIESEC, and it's proven to work so far. Now we are using the same model across every community. So we are keeping that same model because one of the things we promise our users is safety and trust. I mean, it's not going to be safe, and you're not going to have trust if they are strange people who are not who they say they are.
Exactly.
So we have that layer of filtering to make sure that people are actually who they say they are, and that's how we tend to keep the platform quality enough.
Got it. So one of your co-founders, right, said something very powerful. So he said, diversity is not our strategy, it is our foundation. So how has having a team from Europe, Latin America, Africa actually shaped the decision that you make around your product?
You did your research. I think that was from Pat. So our team, we have all over the world, Africa, Europe, Latin America, and stuff. So for us, diversity has made us be a little bit more open-minded in perspective, ideas, and insight. Because when you grow up in a certain way, your view of life, your ideology is in a certain way, right? So one thing that I do appreciate about our team is the perspective, the idea. Sometimes you know a lot, but you're not right. But then when you hear about other people's perspective based on how they see life, it makes it so. One thing that the diversity has, one advantage it has brought to us is that since we're not building for one country or one city, the diversity we have on the team actually help us be relevant across the world. Because we are building for the globe, right? We are building. We went global from day one.
Exactly.
But you can't really build global when you are having a local mindset, right?
Got it.
So that alone, in our conversations, in our meetings, in our the decisions on what feature to build, how to engage with users, you get this powerhouse of 4 of us in one room, sharing perspective based on our upbringing, our region and stuff, it makes it really, really easy for us to see the world from different lens. So that's like a very, very powerful thing about our team.
Right.
We are diverse enough that we can bring in different perspective just to, be ahead of the market.
But the travel market, right, is very dominated, Kelvin, by the Airbnbs, the Booking.coms, the hotel chains, right? These are multi-billion-dollar, companies. So how, like in your own words, how do you see StayingBee, which started in your balcony in Finland? How do you compete with that?
I mean, it is dominated by this brand, but there's something that we have that they don't have. Community and this human connection, right?
Yeah.
Take a typical example. When last did you book a trip and use Airbnb or use a hotel? Think about that experience. It's either very transactional or it's just very expensive, right? You plan a trip, you book a place, you check in, you check out, that's it. You either pay very high price or you just pay for empty apartment. What we do have is something that connects humans wherever you go. So you're planning a trip, you already have somebody where you're going, you are connecting with, telling you about the city, that will welcome you in, probably pick you up from the airport, cook with you, share meal with you, show you around the city, help you get a different vibe. So for us, this is a source that even if they try, they are at a different level now where they are all on the monetization and commercialization.
Right.
So for us, this is something that we have that they don't have, which is where we're going to win. So community, the human connection, and it all goes down to why we do what we do, right?
Exactly.
It's the whole loneliness epidemic is like really insane. Loneliness, depression, people are going through a lot. So we want to bring humans closer together. Even when technology AI is trying to put us all apart. So we want to play our role in bringing humans together.
Right.
And it's something that we are doing on StayingBee that kind of like makes us different from Airbnb and Booking. So at the end of the day, we're not trying to replace those. I mean, we'll be naive to try to do that, right? So they exist for a reason, but there is a gap in the market we are trying to fill for people who are more interested in the human connection, experiencing than just transaction, booking, check-in and check-out. So those are our markets.
Got it. So at the time of my research, you are about 10,000 users, 569 hosts, 85 cities, 49 countries, right? So these are real numbers. So what does it feel for you to watch something that you imagine in your balcony actually come to life and across the globe? How is that feeling like?
Yeah, I mean the numbers have gone way up.
I'm sure,
but for me it feels rewarding and fulfilling because every day I go onto the platform, I just see what people are doing, the bookings happening and stuff like that. It is very, very rewarding to see that what was once an idea from the balcony is actually being used by thousands of people. But also it just proves one thing to me, that we humans, we love connection and we are interested in community, we're interested in belonging, right? Which is where StayingBee is playing a bigger role. So it just makes me understand that we still have a long way to go. We were still in day zero. We just got started. We've not even scratched the surface at all. And to see how people are using it and giving us feedback and talking about it, it makes me know that we have something out there. We just need to play our cards right, take our own share of the market, dominate how we can, and be able to serve people, because the impact StayingBee is going to have is not even going to have what is the impact is currently having now, based on the feedback and testimonials we get from the users. It's huge, even though it's still on a small scale. It's not in the thousands and millions and stuff. But once it gets there, it's something that I can sit back and see that and say that we are helping solve loneliness in the world, because we are connecting people through StayingBee.
That's a big goal. So you describe entrepreneurship as the most rewarding and most demanding profession. So what keeps you going on the days when the rewarding part feels very far away?
Yeah, that happens quite often. It starts, the ups and downs. One of it is actually understanding the like the big picture, the goal, the dream. Why we are building StayingBee.
Yeah.
So building a startup, right? For me, it was fun because I can build. I'm like, oh wow, this is fun. I can build, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized, well, through building that thing, I can make money for myself and get out of poverty. I'm like, okay, that's fun. And then while doing it, I realized that I can also alleviate my friends and family out of poverty by building that, right? And then while building that, I realized that, well, I can make huge impact in the world, affect millions of people. So stack all of them on top of each other.
Yeah.
When shit is not working, I'm like, dude, this is bigger than you. You know, it's gonna be a day of struggle, but it's gonna be hundreds of days of impact and stuff. So, on understanding like the big goal or the big picture, why we actually decided to do this and the impact it can make, that keeps me going. And then one other reason is just my why.
Okay.
Because I feel like, I live a life of service. I have a lot of people that are dependent on me. When I look back on, the people I wake up for every day to live for, even if today is hard, I'm going to wake up and make it work, because at the end of the day, it's less about me and more about the people that I'm carrying along. So this too is more than enough to get through the bad days.
That's really a great way to look at it. My next question though, Kelvin, is like, you have been to 42 countries, right? Plus. And you have been welcomed into strangers' homes. You have eaten food that you couldn't even name. You've navigated cities where you didn't speak the language. What would you say has travel done to your soul, not just your CV?
Wow. Travel on one hand is also a double-edged sword. It's good because I tend to see the world from a different perspective now, right?
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of countries. Like, I've met different people, interacted with different culture, food. So on one hand, I've become quite empathetic with people, very, very understanding, and see things from different perspectives than just being one-sided, right? So I can say that traveling made me a bit wiser as a person, but it also made me a bit not content.
Yeah.
Because when I see somebody in Helsinki or in Lagos doing something some certain way, thinking that is the only way of doing it, that nothing else is possible, I'm like, dude, you need to get the fuck out of your shell. Like, go out, come abroad, just travel and see stuff, right?
Interesting.
So in a way, I'm no longer content with mediocrity. Like, you can be average for all you want, but why play small? The world is huge. You just didn't get past it. So in that case, I can go back and forth with people that are trying to explain to me why something is not possible. I'm like, well, it's not possible where you are now, but I know it's possible because I've seen it happen in Venezuela or in Colombia or in Mexico, right? It is possible. You just haven't gone up there yet.
Yeah, exactly. So there is this interesting quote that is like attributed to you, at least according to the research. It says, money is only a byproduct of value created. So where does that belief come from, and how do you hold on to it when you're running a startup and the pressure to monetize becomes real?
Yeah, I think it was my dad that somehow instilled that belief in me, because while growing up, I was always helping him out in the shop, going to sell with him and stuff like that. So I got to understand that money is money. People have it, some people don't have it, right? But there's something in between people and money, and that's value.
Yeah.
Right? Being able to create value makes it easy for you to demand a reward, which in this case can be money. So it has a lot to do with my upbringing. Going with my dad, him showing me some skill sets, telling me about how to sell, how to attract people, explaining the value of what we are selling. So he was selling footwear, right? But then there are a lot of footwear out there, and there are a lot of competitors on that same street. So the first thing he was asking is why would any stranger pass all those shops and come to yours? Right? One of the things he made me understand was you need to show up front even before the value is delivered, right? You need to hustle your way through, right? Yeah. So in that sense, I started looking at money from a different lens. I can see you have money, but I'm not going to come for your money. I'm going to ask myself, what is he struggling with right now that I can solve as a problem that would help me create value for him.
Exactly.
And then in return, he will pay me for it.
Right.
So that changed my whole mentality. And that's how building like startup, some people will look at it as a side hustle, a side gig, something you do on the side to get some extras.
Yeah.
But for me, it's a business.
Right.
So you create a value, you go ask people to pay for it.
So you've mentioned your dad a lot, during the interview, of how he was, teaching you or bringing you to the shop, like even invincibly or unknowingly teaching you things that today you are using, right? So who are the people you would say, it could be mentors, family members, friends, who have believed in you even when you didn't, fully believe in yourself? Because I can assume that as a startup entrepreneur, sometimes when things get tough, even though you believe in yourself and the vision, there are certain times that you really feel like, okay, maybe this is not it. So for you, who are those people who believed in you when you didn't even fully believe in yourself?
Yeah, on top of the list would be my right hand, which is my girlfriend.
Right.
She's one that celebrates me even when because I work hard, that sometimes I don't even celebrate the small wins and stuff. So she's been always there, cheering me up, helping me through tough times, and believing in me the way that even myself, I'm like, oh wow, I can do that, Then of course my parents, they've been there from day one. Most times when I see them, especially my dad, he shares how proud he is with what I'm doing and how much he believes in what I'm doing.
Right.
It gives me an anchor to keep going. I do read a lot of books. I have like invisible mentors that they might not even know that they are mentoring me, right? Listening to a lot of podcasts, audio books, watch a lot of stuff that I tend to learn from people from afar. And then lastly, my friends. I mean, one of the reasons why I'm still in Finland is the friend, like the community of people that I've built around me.
Nice.
They are quite supportive, helping and all that. So that makes it easy for me to just navigate around. Nice. I don't really have per se like a mentor out there that I go to every time to engage. I have a bunch of them in different shapes, in different industries. Some of them don't even know that they are my mentors.
Yeah. So you, depending on what you need, you know who to approach.
Exactly. Yeah.
StayingBee, right? Where do you see StayingBee in, let's say, the next 5 years? And I'm not talking about the slide deck version. I'm talking about the version that you actually dream about late at night. Where do you see it in the next 5 years?
Yeah, the whole idea of StayingBee is to somehow combat loneliness and help people feel connected even when they are abroad. So in 5 years' time, right, my ideal version of StayingBee would be, you want to go on a trip, you have a thought, should I book an empty apartment with Airbnb, or should I pay a high price and stay in a lonely hotel room, or should I book with StayingBee and stay with people that I connect with, I vibe with, and have a lot more experience from my trip? So I want that to be like a conscious thought people go through when they're about to book a trip, right? So becoming you can call it a category defining brand that people consciously think to use when they are going abroad. Just because, of course, if you're going for a business trip, you need your privacy and stuff. So you can use a hotel or Airbnb. Or if you're going with a family, large group, you can use Airbnb and book like 3, 4, 5 like bedroom and stuff. But if you're going just by yourself or with a partner and you're interested in connecting with people, sharing experiences and just getting more out of your trip than just the transaction, then StayingBee should be like the default in people's minds. So I want to instill that into people where when you talk about connection with people, your community, vibing, you should go for StayingBee.
Right. You are also expanding into Africa,
West
Africa, East Africa, and so forth, right? What does it mean to you personally to bring this platform to the continent where you are from yourself? How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it brings a lot of pride to see us moving into that expansion, but also I feel like it's actually much more relevant in Africa, Latin America than in Europe, because like I was on a trip to Nigeria with my girlfriend a couple of weeks ago. I could never send her to Nigeria alone. Like I can never advise any of my friends to come to Nigeria alone by themselves, right? You need a guy, you need a local person, right? This is now when StayingBee makes a lot more sense, because in Europe, I can come alone by myself. I will navigate the system. I will try. I will manage. I will find a way. It's going to work somehow. But it's a different conversation when you talk about going to Africa, which is why I think the product is actually more relevant in Africa, because you really need a local. You need somebody that would help you navigate the ecosystem, which is where StayingBee plays a big role. So for me, the expansion into Africa is we've actually stressing a lot of demand. Right. A lot of hosts putting up their apartments in Kenya, in Nigeria, in Tanzania, in Rwanda and stuff. Okay. So it gives me pride to see that, but it also makes me understand that this is actually a right market for what we are building. So it does make a lot of sense. Nice.
So you are also a startup mentor at the Nordic Startup School. You work with young founders, right? So what do you see as the single biggest mistake young entrepreneurs make, and what is the advice you find yourself giving again and again?
Well, I used to work with Nordic Startup School as a mentor, but I'm no longer there. But if one of the repetitive issues that I've seen is people focusing a lot on the tech, or call it platform. Instead of distribution, because honestly, if you can solve distribution even before you build the platform, you are going to win over the perfect tech or the perfect platform out there. So you see a lot of people who have an idea, they go build it out, perfect it, and then they now want to sell. It gets difficult. So flip the coin. Sort out the distribution first before you build. The second one is also, I mean, I don't know if this is a startup thing. Or is it just that it takes too long? So when you plan, it's going to take 2 times, 3 times longer than what you think. I don't know if it's because building startup is hard or it's because it just takes longer, right? So you see a lot of people, they plan for their own way and they're okay, well, we'll have money in the bank for this and then we're going to raise money at this point. But then by the time you get there, you realize that, oh shit, you need a lot more time. That's why a lot of companies run out of money because they are in between rounds. Then another one would be around fundraising. I mean, the game has changed. Maybe back in the days, you can have an idea and you can raise money on an idea. But now, I wouldn't even advise anyone to talk to any investor until you have some serious traction, like some revenue, some user base that is growing. It's a mistake that a lot of founders still make. You know, they have this idea, this concept, and they want to go and raise money on it. In this age of AI, technology is no longer the moat. The moat is how can you distribute this, right? So in that case, forgetting about raising money early is as important as you just be building and growing, getting to the point where it makes sense and you can see it working. Also, it helps you not to give away too much shares. Right.
So with all the experiences that you have garnered, up until now, if you could go back and give one advice to yourself when you were starting, or to your younger self, what would you say?
I mean, back then I didn't even think it was possible. If anybody told me I would be here, 10, 20 years ago, I'd be like, dude, you're dreaming. So one advice I would give to my younger self or to any younger person thinking about going into entrepreneurship is that it's possible. Right? But it's going to take time. Sometimes it takes longer time than you anticipate, which means you need to have enough fuel to carry you along. There's going to be hurdles and challenges, and they paint entrepreneurship to be this, nice, be your own boss, buy expensive stuff, and those are part of the game for sure. But that's 1/10 of the equation. There's a lot that goes into it, right? And I know that some people would also be comfortable just doing a 9 to 5. Not everybody is built out for this. So look at it from a perspective of there's a lot that will go into this. It's going to take time. It's going to take a toll on your finance, your mental health, your relationships, literally everything around you. So once you are in terms with this, right, and make sure you are ready to go as long as the game is going to keep you in until you make it happen. Apart from this, keep your heads down, learn as much as you can, forget about ego, pride, and all of that, and just put your head down, learn, grind, and everything is possible.
Nice. So Kelvin, my last question for you, right? You started in Nigeria and you built yourself up through 42 plus countries. You landed in Finland with no language and no blueprint. And you are now building something that thousands of people around the world can call home. If there's one young person listening right now, maybe in Lagos, in Helsinki, anywhere, maybe even somewhere, Latin America, wherever, right? Who has the dream but can't see the path yet? What do you want them to know?
Who has the dream but can't see the path yet? Well, I would say I will use Steve Jobs' quote. It's almost impossible to connect the dots looking forward, but it's super easy to connect them looking backwards. So the paths we are seeing now might be really rough, tough. You can't see how it's going to go. It's designed to be that way, right? So one of the key things I would want them to have is a really, really big dream. Because you need to believe in something.
Right.
And you need to believe that this pathway, this dot is going to connect downway, right? So you're either going to believe in, I don't know, God, karma, believe in the big picture, believe in something that will keep you going.
Right.
Because when you try to look forward, it might look impossible, right? But again, you need to be long enough in the game for you to cross this path. So you're actually able to look backwards and see what has happened. So it's possible. It's going to be rough, but you just need to stay long in the game and make it happen. So forget about seeing the path clearing now or connecting the dots looking forward. Just keep doing what you're doing, put your heads down, and know that eventually the dots are going to connect.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kelvin, for coming on the Godson Pratt podcast. We really appreciate you, and we also like what you are doing for the culture because, like I said at the beginning of the interview, Finland nowadays, when it comes to immigration and immigrants, there's a lot of things going on. So for me, I'm always excited to see one of us creating something that we can say is an inspiration to the community. So we thank you, and thanks for taking time off of your busy schedule. But now we will let you go so you can build StayingBee, and hopefully we would go to StayingBee with Sam as well.
Of course. But hey, thank you so much for inviting me over.
Thank you.
I'm always really excited to share the story, my journey, how things has been, and you inviting me here I really appreciate it. Thanks for the questions. They were really, really deep and insightful. And for every other person watching out there, just keep grinding, stay in the game. It's gonna work out.
Godson Pratt podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kelvin.
Thanks.
Nice.